Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Virtue. And here is her story. Hey, Ollie. It's okay to use my first name, Virtue, in this clip. I've left you a small donation. I would like to give more, but I'm in between jobs currently and on a dreaded budget. I've been watching quite a few of your videos over the past months. They've been so very helpful, and once I'm employed again, I intend to donate sponsorship as you deserve the support. You've done a couple videos for me in the past which were very insightful, and I would value your opinion and or advice on my current situation. I guess a quick backstory is necessary. I grew up with adoptive parents. My mother was a sociopathic narc, and father, I think, was borderline, both deceased now. I went no contact over 20 years ago when in my 30s with the entire adoptive family, and it's the best thing I ever did. I started to heal with the help of therapy over the years because I was escaping their constant nasty abuse, dysfunctional behavior, and chaotic lifestyle. I have 3 adult children in their late 20s, 2 daughters and a son. Their father is also a narc borderline nightmare who I left around 20 years ago. Between the ex and the adoptive family, I was surrounded by these sick cluster Bs. It gave me the push to go no or low contact. Initially, no contact was not an option with my ex, as my kids were young and we had joint custody. But once my kids became adults, I could go no contact with them. But I always kept an eye on my kids to make sure he was treating them well and they were showing no signs of his abuse. I've had an open and honest relationship with them, and they have respected me as their mother, so they seem to be fine. I could pull them back from this bullshit. A little more background: I'm Australian, but I also spent time living in the UK as I have an English background. I have recently returned back to Australia after 5 years living in London, keeping in contact with my kids while I was there, of course. On my return, I arranged to stay with my youngest daughter temporarily until I set myself up again. I was really proud of her because she was initially so kind, helpful, and it was great to be there with her. I was enjoying her company so much. As I wasn't paying rent, which she had told me was okay, I helped her out doing chores, laundry, etc. I thought everything was okay until the narc ex intervened. Overnight, my daughter changed and became resentful and mean, stonewalling me, humiliating me, and generally making me feel really unwelcome. I had no idea why. I had done nothing to cause this damage. I was honest about our arrangements. I was giving her space. I was at a loss to know what the fuck was going on, or what, if anything, I'd done. But I'd been through this narc abuse many times before, and it stunk of manipulation. My gut was sending out alarm bells, and I knew my narc ex was behind it because she was behaving like him. So I started planning the move soon as her behavior was getting worse and worse by the day, to the point she was triggering me. I haven't experienced this sort of abuse for so many years, and I felt so shell-shocked by it, and so helpless. Every time I felt good about the move back to Australia and started to assimilate back into this country, she triggered me. I could not believe the abusive crap coming out of her mouth. Everything was my fault and I'm causing her problems. Total projection onto me. I had to admit to myself she was behaving like a narc. I had never experienced this sort of behavior from her before, ever. My son was also acting out. My narc ex has always favored my son, obviously his golden child, but it never affected my relationship with my son too much. He could be a bit self-entitled, but I was always able to ground him. Now he won't talk to me and I've done nothing. I haven't spoken to him once since returning to Australia. I've tried, but he ignores me. What could I have possibly done? Nothing. More manipulative stench. Anyway, long story short, my youngest daughter owes me money, and I was going to talk to her about it as I needed her to pay me back, so it's a way overdue. But before I could even talk to her, and out of nowhere, she started laughing about this loan to my face. I lent her money to pay for her parking fines because there were sheriff's bailiffs at her door looking for payment, and currently she has another pile of demands for overdue fines. She started bragging that she wasn't paying these current fines either, but she'd let them build up until the sheriffs arrived and then get someone else to pay for her. My ex-narc was the one who does this non-payment thing, not her. But now it's her third batch of multiple fines she has ignored. I paid one batch, apparently my narc ex paid the other. I was so stunned, I'm alarmed at her behavior, and so angry at the same time. I feel so used. I feel like she conned me. But wait, there's more. About a week later, she left work one day, and when I walked through the living room, there was a depersonalized note on the coffee table telling me she wanted me to go. I was pissed, really pissed. I sent her a text about not speaking to me herself, but dropping a note and jumping in a car and leaving. I think it was such a cowardly act to leave a note when I was stiff sitting in another room not 10 feet away at the time she did it. I am her mother. She showed me no respect and is more interested in keeping my money. Her sense of entitlement is astounding. I have to face it. It looks like my ex has enabled her in abusing her own mother, makes her feel better about herself, and she can keep my money. Same old story, repeating. But wait, there's more. Then it got really chaotic. I was gang bullied by both daughters and the idiot narc ex via text. My original text was sent out to my kids and him, no respect for my privacy or rights. One daughter's abusive text attacking me for behaving like a child, and she can't deal with me when I'm like that. I'm so pissed with her, at least I know how to park a car. Who's the child here? The other telling me I'm a freeloader in cap locks. But my stupid narc ex incriminated himself by answering his text in seconds. It's so obvious he knew what was going on. He sent back a long text narc rant of projection, vindictiveness, and hate. I haven't even had a conversation with this stupid fool for many years. Highlights of his texts were, I was having a massive tantrum. No, dickhead, I'm really angry, and there are two different things. He was going to move some things I'd had to leave in my daughter's flat and charge me the same money that she owed me so she didn't have to pay back my loan. Sociopath. So after 20 years of me having minimum to no contact with him, it all starts again. He enables my family. No way. Absolutely no contact with him ever. Ollie, I really can't cope with this sort of abuse again. I can't. I've healed too much. It seems like your kids are blaming you for something here, Virtue. And I'm wondering if your time in London, whether they were adults or not, or they saw as some sort of abandonment, saw as more of a selfish move on your end. I don't know. I mean, you're telling me all of this is out of the blue from your children? I don't know how that could be. I know it's because my ex's stupid thin ego can't cope with me coming back from London. He's a hoarder in a house with no electricity. He got it cut off many years ago because he wanted to teach the power company a lesson. Ha, typical stupid man. The power company doesn't care. They just think you're a fool, and obviously he wasn't wearing his tinfoil hat that day. Anyway, I answered his text telling him he was abusive and threatening and to fuck off, and then I blocked him. He's probably off on a smear campaign about me right now, but I really don't care. He's only going to make a dick of himself anyway. The thing with my ex is he thinks he's so clever when really he's so dumb. He's been so many years and it's still a total hot mess. But I learned a lesson from all this, even after all these years. This stupid narc is still capable of playing his destructive games. We all need to be vigilant when going no contact, and I wasn't. I let my guard down. What I'm really heartbroken about is my kids. He's polluted them. 5 years in London, I wasn't there to pull him back from his poison. Well, that's my point. It's those 5 years in London, and obviously he had access to them. And you thought you had a bridge, and he was able to make it like you abandoned him. And then he sells your daughter. Look, she abandons you, then comes back and lives off you. And now she's a user, being selfish. And it's always been about your mother her whole life. She's always been doing things like this. She always makes it about herself. And then she comes back and she wants to make it and make you pay for it. And he'll say, why should you have to pay those loans back? You're living here, aren't you? It's tough, even with your adult kids. If your adult kids are going to have, this is the risk you run. This is the risk you run because you never went no contact from him. Because of your children. Because he's saying, oh, well, you had a normal relationship with them. There was no reason to. Up until now, I think you were missing I think you were missing a lot of red flags. A lot of red flags. I didn't see it coming. He has used my own daughters to get me. What a monster. I'm trying not to feel guilty or responsible for this, but I do. I know my kids are adults, but they are still my kids, and I'm even if I'm angry with them. So it's with a heavy heart I've decided to go no contact with the kids for the time being. I'll review it again in 6 months because it hurts me too much to say it's permanent, but I can't let this ex or this abuse back into my life. I miss my kids dearly. I want the kids I used to know back, but I need to focus on myself and reestablishing my life back in Australia. I've healed so much since I went no contact with my narc collection, ex family, and narc sister. When I got abused again, it shocked me. I don't know how I ever lived through it before. No contact is the only way for healing, but this is a cautionary tale. You always have to be aware of their narc presence, no matter how long the no contact has been. I never saw this coming. Maybe I was naive. It makes me wonder if this abuse will ever stop sometimes. None of us ever deserved it, but I wanted to share the lesson I've learned. And thanks so much for your time again. All the best, Virtue. Know what the real lesson here is, Virtue? Is that when you lived in England for whatever the reason, whether you realized you were getting further away from the problem or not, that's what you did. And the reason you were shocked is because you went to England for your UK for your own reasons. Whatever they were, business, I'm not sure, for whatever your own reasons were. You said you had roots there. But you didn't realize one of the benefits of that was going to be healing from the abuse because you're so far away from the toxicity. So then when you decide to move back to Australia, it's like inviting the narcissist back into your life and you don't even realize it. And you're setting yourself up to be destroyed. Because the closer you pick yourself to the narcissist, the more easily it is for you to get sucked in. You probably would have had a better relationship with your kids from the UK. That's not to say you should leave Australia, but that's the reality, because what that move to the UK represents to you, should be representing to you, is your no contact. And how those 5 years were, and how you got blindsided when you came back. If you got blindsided when you came back, that means your 5 years in the UK were pretty good and pretty toxic free. use that as your basis now to fix all this. You can't approach your children at this point, Virtue. You got to wait for them to come for you. You have to. Because any attempt you make at this point to reach out to them is going to be turned around against you. Period. That's the fact. That's reality. So, you had a benefit of no contact that you weren't even realizing it. And you didn't realize it until you went back. So, you know, I really wish you would, I hope you will reevaluate your overall relationship with your children and what was going on. Because for this to have completely blindsided you in their 20s is abnormal. So I think maybe you need to look a little more honestly in your relationship with your children, you know, because they're acting like children who have been abandoned, and this didn't happen until they were in their 20s. So you need to ask why, you know. All right, so I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and story, Virtue. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.